Hi, I'm Jim Hershberg, and I'm here to talk about my new book, Marigold, The Lost Chance for Peace in Vietnam. The Vietnam War killed more than 58,000 Americans, millions of Vietnamese, convulsed world politics, crippled the Johnson administration, and poisoned American politics. Did the toll have to be so high? The book explores both one of the war's great remaining mysteries and a missed opportunity to possibly end the war years earlier than actually took place. It addresses a secret peace initiative codenamed Marigold by American officials that took place in 1966. In it, Poland, a communist ally of the Soviet Union, tried to broker the opening of peace talks between the United States and North Vietnam. The book shows that it came far closer than historians or government officials have long believed to success. At one point, mutual agreement was actually reached to arrange a direct meeting between U.S. and North Vietnamese diplomats to agree on a 10-point plan to resolve the conflict. But instead, for reasons the book explains, the effort first was suspended and then fell apart in a welter of mutual recriminations that later seeped into the public and caused an international scandal in 1967. When he wrote his memoirs, Lyndon Johnson essentially said this was all much ado about nothing. There was no missed opportunity. Poland was never even authorized by North Vietnam to set up this meeting. Dean Rusk, his Secretary of State, said the same thing in his memoirs and said this was all a Polish sham, and that the key figure in it, a Polish diplomat named Janusz Lewandowski, was actually an intelligence officer acting on his own. The book uses evidence from more than a dozen countries and dozens of hours of interview with the Polish diplomat at the heart of the affair to show that Johnson and Rusk and other senior U.S. officials were wrong. In fact, a real opportunity for peace may have existed, and a definite opportunity for direct discussions to begin in 1966 instead of 1968 was in fact missed. It shows that history could have been different, not only in the Vietnam War, but in American politics, because of course it was the failure to open talks with North Vietnam that ended up destroying Lyndon Johnson's renomination bid in 1968. The book is also a snapshot of the international history of the Cold War. It uses materials from the communist world that were inaccessible until after the Cold War, but which show in unparalleled detail the human dynamics that took place not only in Vietnam and in the inner sanctum of the communist leadership in Hanoi, but between Vietnam, China, Russia, Poland, a story that could not have been put together until now. I hope that you will look at the electronic briefing book on the National Security Archive website that resolves the enigma, in the words of one government official, at the core of the affair. Was Poland really authorized by North Vietnam to set up direct meetings with U.S. officials? For decades, U.S. officials contended that since they never heard directly from the North Vietnamese, only from the Poles, probably Poland was acting on its own without North Vietnam's serious authorization. The communist documents that this electronic briefing book presents shows that this was not the case, that in fact Janusz Lewandowski, a Polish diplomat, visited Hanoi in late November 1966, had intensive discussions with Pham Van Dong, the premier of North Vietnam, and after stormy discussions in the North Vietnamese Communist Party Politburo, a decision was in fact made to have a direct contact with the Americans, and Pham Van Dong promised that if the Americans were really of the positions that the Pole had described, he would, and North Vietnam would enter the talks and adopt a forthcoming attitude. This shows that in fact Marigold was for real, and the story of what happened next is told in the book. Thank you.